What do you do when you really want to build a PC, but nothing's available? You become a scavenger and you figure it out and you put shit together. Hey everyone, I'm Shojan. Welcome to the channel, and I'm going to do a quick end of the year PC build against all better judgment. Everything was available to us but the graphics card. So why pay a scalper when you can just wait? But you can't play a game without a graphics card. We found a card for 250 bucks that can not only do 1080, it can do 1440p gaming as well. The early benchmarks we did with the program Heaven gave us around 40 to 50 FPS on 1440p gaming, and for 1080p gaming it gave us around 60 to 80 FPS. I frankly was pretty impressed. Having a 2070 Super, looking at this Radeon 5500 XT from PowerColor, mine from Gb, I was very impressed. And the other components are all overpowered, so it's ready to take on a GPU as strong as a 3070. That being said, let's get on to the product list. We went to Memory Express, the biggest computer retailer here in Canada. We bought all the items there minus the graphics card because nothing really existed. And whatever was there that did what we needed was too expensive. I wasn't about to spend $400 to $500 for a 1060 or something garbage like that. Yeah, so our case is a Thermaltake V250 ARGB ATX case. We got that on sale. Hard drive is a Western Digital 1TB M.2 PCI 3. Our RAM was on sale. We got Spectrix D60 3600 MHz DDR4, 2 DIMMs at 8 GB each. Motherboard was on sale. Asus Tuf Gaming B550 with Wi-Fi. I was impressed that we were able to get our hands on that. And as for the CPU, we did overkill rather than underkill. We wanted this Ryzen 5 3600, 3600X, or 3600 XT, neither of which were available. We had to go really low with some sort of Ryzen 3 or go a little higher, which we did. 4 cores, 16 threads, we went with the 7 3800X. Still comes with a stock cooler. Dang, this guy is a beast, and it's gonna keep Tyler busy for several years. He's not a streamer, he just wants a good machine that gets the job done, and this will get it done for a few years. And by few, I mean 5 or plus. So our graphics card, I lightly mentioned earlier, is the Radeon 5500 XT from PowerColor. We found that on Amazon for around $250 Canadian. Had very good reviews. A solid 1 slot GPU. You only had to take out 1 slot, but it's kind of like a 1.5 to 2 slotter. Nice fans, good heat sink, and good heat pipe. We will check that out in the video coming up real shortly. That being said, if you guys like what you see, please give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you don't mind, keep those notifications on and you can see whenever I pop up a video. It won't be that often, you know, maybe once a week, so you're not going to get bombarded by dumb notifications. Our power supply is the Corsair 650 watt gold standard, RMX I believe. That allows him to upgrade to a 3070 graphics card in the future, and he doesn't even need that. If I were Tyler, I'd stick with the best bang for your buck between a 3060, 3060 Ti, and a 3070. So we'll see how the markets settle out next year, and if he wants to buy one, he'll decide which one he wants. Let's head on to the video. It was originally streamed on Twitch, so I condensed it down to under 9 minutes, and I ended up doing a voiceover because what I edited just didn't work out properly audio-wise. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace. So here's our graphics card, the Radeon 5500 XT from PowerColor. This is our budget graphics card that we're going to replace sometime in the near future, giving us 1080p gaming, 60 to 80 FPS, decent heat pipes and heat sink with 2 fans to keep it cool. And then we're going to go into our RAM. We picked this up from Spectrix. They are D60 model, 3600 MHz, 8 GB, 2 DIMMs. Our hard drive is from Western Digital, 1 TB, And our power supply right here, as I mentioned earlier, we did a switcheroo. Tyler's grabbing the 650 so he can upgrade to potentially a 3070 if he likes. Here's our motherboard, the Asus Tuf Gaming B550 with Wi-Fi, as I mentioned earlier. I'm just showing off how nicely built it is. All the heat sinks, where the RAM goes, where the hard drive goes, and how nicely it's being protected. Up next, this is the cooler for our CPU, which by the way is the Ryzen 7 3800X, as mentioned before. The cooler, nice heat sink and heat pipe again, takes all the heat through that fan, gets expelled out, and there is the pre-applied thermal paste that is very nicely, conveniently applied for us. Our actual CPU, just gonna unbox that there, and as we can see, it says 73800X. You may not see it very well in the video, but it's there. Nice set of gold pins. We really do not want to damage those. AMD chips are that way. Intel is flat, and the sockets have the pins. So we want to make sure we get that in there nice and neatly. The two arrows match on the bottom corners. Bring the retention bar down, and voila. Give it a nice wipe before you put the cooler on, because it's going to be the permanent home of the thermal paste. Snap on the cooler. If you're using the stock cooler, it goes on with the built-in brackets. If you're getting an AIO or another cooler, you may have to remove the built-in brackets on the motherboard and follow the directions on your motherboard or cooler guide. Next, we're gonna just neatly make those wires go around and give it some nice wire management. That's the way it should look. Really good cable management goes a long way in a nice PC build. Two wires are coming up there. Now we're gonna throw in the RAM. Right here, I'm just going over how DIMM slots work. You have 4 DIMM slots normally. In this case, we're using the gray slots. Normally you're using the 2nd and 4th slots for the first 2 set of DIMMs and the 1st and 3rd slot for the 2nd set of DIMMs. Here we're only using 2 for our 16 gigabyte system. Tyler can always upgrade. There is our hard drive, 1 terabyte Western Digital, PCIe 3. We have 2 hard drive slots here. We're going to use the bottom one, which has a heat sink. There it is right there. We're going to have to remove that before we put it back on. First, we'll drop in the hard drive. It has a groove as well where you can place it properly, press down onto the standoff, and screw it in with the screw that comes with it. There is our case, the Thermaltake V250 ARGB ATX case. I really like the fans. It works really nice. The fans are already connected to its own little board. Then our IO shield, just gotta pop that in. And there it goes, snap, snap, snap. Only goes in one way, so make sure it lines up properly with the motherboard, and then you stick it on, and away you go. Lining up the motherboard, make sure it gets onto the center standoff of your case, and you should have 9 screws to screw in. Follow the directions on your motherboard manual and you'll be fine. Now I'm throwing in the graphics card. Easy peasy, just remove the 1 slot behind the board and screwing it in place. Now you can see I'm putting in the power supply. This case prefers the power supply facing down, so it has its own intake and exhaust. And there we have it. Beautiful, very nice. That little opening there is a nice spot for a mini LCD where you can put on different peripherals like temperature and other statistics. And I really like the front of the case as well. It looks very pretty. There she is. Not bad. Not bad for a budget build. Fully upgradable. Its overpowered CPU is ready to handle a GPU up to a 3070 with the current power supply. And voila! She posted right off the bat no issues at all. There's the inside with the standard RGB. Of course, Tyler is able to change that in any way he likes. Now just waiting to see if the computer posted, and there it is. The computer posted, and I'm very happy. So now I'm going to be preparing to install Windows. I downloaded a tech tool onto a USB. You need at least 8 gigabytes free on an empty USB. Download the tech tool through the Microsoft Store itself, Microsoft website. And once you've gotten that tool, you have to purchase a product key. We'll leave that up to you. You can go through Amazon or Microsoft and just boot it up, and you should be all set. There we go. I'm well on my way to get Windows installed. This was my second build. No problems with any of them. Have a great day. Peace.